I'm Missy.
I'm Mike.
And we're the Campoholics!
Mike and Missy, the Campoholics. Thanks for joining us today.
Hello.
We are recording this outside a very busy Techo Hall here in the Florida State Fairgrounds at the Florida RV Super Show. What has the experience like been so far at the show?
We love RV shows. We call it camper shopping.
Yeah,
we go camper shopping.
We go camper shopping a lot. So
even if we're not in the market, right?
even out in the market,
Yeah.
I'm just fascinated by going to visiting other campers, checking them out,
And
looking.
every brand,
Yeah.
really, every brand and model, and
Seeing the latest trends in the RV
it's
world.
very spread out. This one is.
Okay.
I feel like we've walked a lot of miles trying to figure out where everything is.
Just trying to get from one spot to the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We go to the Hershey RV show all the time. So this is our first time here in Tampa. Yeah, go to the Hershey RV show. So this will be our fourth RV show. No, fourth or fifth. We've been to a Jersey one as well.
Yeah, Atlantic
just
City.
looking around. We just enjoy the vendors and seeing what products are out there. So it's pretty
And marketing, the marketing aspect of it also. Handing out business cards, chatting with other
and running
vendors.
into other fellow RVers that you might happen to see.
Okay.
Or,
Yeah.
So yeah, we like it. It's nice. The weather, of course, the weather doesn't hurt.
The weather not hurting,
No,
right?
when it's
Right.
18 degrees at home, heck, I'm not going to complain.
Snow coming through.
Snow.
You're towards our neck of the woods, right? Southern
Oh,
Michigan.
you guys are getting.
We are in Elkhart. Yeah, there's snow everywhere.
We're Delawareans. We're
Yeah.
from Delawareans,
Okay.
but
Yeah,
the weather's, there's no difference in the weather.
Yeah.
No, I think it just gets colder faster there.
Yeah.
Where
Okay.
you guys are from, yeah.
Correct.
So what decided, or what made you decide to travel about and live this RV life?
Well, we sold the house in 2017 with just the intention to downsize. Went to the Hershey RV show, bought our first one, and I was like, we're not getting anything big, because I don't think I'm gonna like doing this. I just can't see myself living in an RV.
Okay.
That lasted about 6 months because it was a little too small. We got a bigger rig. And while we were in that bigger rig, we were like, I think it was you said, hey, we could do this full time.
Yeah.
Why can't we just
Okay.
live in this instead of building a house? We don't want to
sure.
go house poor again. We don't
Sure.
want to have another mortgage, blah, 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 blah.
And this is before I discovered the RV world in YouTube.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had no idea.
So we started watching YouTube just to start watching people with their RVs. Like,
Okay.
what
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
RV do you need if you want to do this, and what kind of that. Not really the aspect of RV traveling. It was more of it was the how-to port.
Yeah,
What kind of RV should we live in? Do you need a bunkhouse? Do you need a front living? Do you need a dual axle? Do you need a triple? All that kind of stuff. So that's what we were watching YouTube for.
But getting back to the point of how we get into it,
Yeah.
we had the Forest River Sail, and that was our first one. And that's when we were sitting around a campfire, and I said, babe, we could do this full time.
Yeah, sure. I'm sorry. Hold on.
Sure.
No, you're okay. Sorry, we're just in use right now.
I know. I wanted to live here.
We'll have to show you once we're done.
You don't have a lock on that door?
I don't
The
know.
red,
Yes, the red one. Flip it over.
downward, there you go.
There you
Yeah.
go. That's locked. Yep.
I'm learning things about RVs right here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How to lock the door.
Oh, that's always a comical
If
thing.
you guys want to make a YouTube video on that just now, I'll be happy to recreate. I'll give you that content.
How does the Lippert representative lock his own door?
This is your time. We can make that happen for you guys, for sure. Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, getting back to the point where we're
Forest
sitting around
River
the
Sail,
camp,
yep.
the Forest River Sail, we're at Chesapeake Bay RV Resort or something like that, I think, and I said, babe, we could do this full time. I mean, I have been being a military guy. I've always moved.
Yeah.
And my dad built houses for a living, so we had a new house every 5 years. So being there, I had no ties to anything, I guess, as far as a home base. So I said, I want to go out and be free and check out the country, see what the country has to offer.
okay.
Being a military guy, I've been around the world, parts of the world, but
Yeah,
I
sure.
haven't been through
And
my
you
own
were
country.
already retired. You were just working a handyman business. So
Okay.
I
he was
had
already
overtime.
retired
Yeah.
when we bought the first one. So pension was coming in, so we were still doing well. I was still working, but you were.
But you had a little bit of freedom there.
I had a little bit of
Think about
freedom
the
where
idea.
he could,
Correct.
and I worked for a school system, so I had the holidays off, the weekends off, so we did have a lot of time to camp.
We were weekend warriors.
Yeah, well, once camping
Every
season
weekend.
started,
Okay.
pretty much end of March and April, we were like every weekend somewhere.
Mhm.
It was just a local state park. We were gone,
Okay.
and that's when we kind of got. And I was like, I do like this.
Yeah.
Our children are grown. They didn't. It was just us two, and so. But I think you said, okay, but we can't do it in this rig.
Yeah, so when we had a Grand Design reflection, we traded the Forest River in for
For
a Grand
reflection,
Design reflection.
a 37-foot tag along.
Yep.
And then you were like, all right, if we're going to do this, we're going to get a bigger truck, we're going to get a bigger rig, and we're going to go from there. And then COVID hit.
Yeah, I wanted a taller ceiling. I just wanted a little bit more open
Yeah.
feel.
So COVID hit. My school sent me home to work, and while we were home, and we had pretty much made the decision already. We were going to go full time. We just didn't know exactly when, where, how, what.
Sure.
How far full time. 3 months, come home.
So the idea
6
of-
weeks. We didn't really know yet what the full time life was going to be like. Were we still going to continue to rent, and then leave for 3 or 4 months and come back? And then it was like, well, why would we pay rent? And it was still a little bit of the unknown. COVID hit. Local campground said we'll do buy 1 week, get 1 week free, because at the time you were doing the 14-day quarantine.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So we ended up staying down there all of April, all of May. We ended up coming home in June, back in July, and all of August. So we basically did 4 full months in the rig as a shakedown, working out all the kinks and living in it.
Figuring out how to
And
live.
figuring it out how to live and still
Full
only
time.
be an hour and a half from home.
Okay.
And
But that's an interesting aspect because you're talking about still having a home.
yeah,
right?
we still
Like
had
that's-
it
right.
wasn't really yet full time
Right.
because we still had a place. And
Yeah.
if I forgot something, I could run back and get it
Okay.
or something.
Right.
Um,
But it was a good. It was a good dry run.
it was a good dry run for the rig.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
I
I
think.
recommend people do.
It was a good dry run for the rig because we found we had really only one issue. It was a refrigerator issue,
Right.
which would have been terrible if we were on the road.
Yeah, sure.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it was a good dry run. It made me figure out, okay, you've brought way too much stuff. You don't have enough of this. You do have enough of this. How much can I pick up at the grocery store that will fit in this refrigerator? Like all those things that I didn't want to. I'm glad I didn't find out while I was actually in the middle of Indiana.
Oh, sure.
Or
Yeah.
someplace like that, and go, oh, you've bought your normal grocery shopping list, and this doesn't fit in your refrigerator. Now what do you do?
Right.
And you've already been thinking, because I haven't had anyone mention so far on this show, thinking about how much can I fill the fridge.
Yeah.
Right? And small stuff, that you got to know that because you
and I
overshop.
think the dry run for us, staying in a campground, local,
Yeah.
home, close to home, afforded us.
Yeah.
Okay.
If we screwed up, we go to my sister-in-law and get her extra cooler and throw it in there. Because we had friends camping.
Sure.
But and then by the fall, like December and January, we really started to get on the countdown of, okay, when is your retirement date?
Yeah.
And when are we going to pull out?
And our first destination, well, it wasn't our first destination, but our target was Key
To get
West.
to Key West. That's
Okay.
what
So
we
we
knew
had
we
already
wanted
booked
to
that.
Oh,
do.
really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we started
And we built
booking.
everything around that Key West trip.
And once we got
Okay.
into Key West, then we kind of booked everything around it. So people ask us all the time, like, what's your plan? We do and we don't have a plan. Like, we don't have anything specific that we want to go, oh, we need to go here, we need to go there. Like I said, we built around Key West, and then we just kind of built around that, knowing we wanted to be home at a certain time. We wanted to make the national rally at a certain time. We wanted to go to a bourbon festival at a certain time. So we just kind of started to make our path
Right.
around that. A
Yeah.
lot of people know, like, I want to go see the sort of, I want to go to Yellowstone.
Okay.
We don't have any big bucket list that we're working on yet.
Well, for me, the stand beside the buoy in downtown Key West was a bucket list.
yeah.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
The mile marker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the mile markers. Or
But we
no,
weren't-
the actual buoy, the big buoy.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Key West is definitely a destination I want to hit up. I haven't been there since I was a kid. I was born in Tampa, raised until I was 8, then went up north, but never remember going to Key West. How's the camping like in Key West? I mean, you're bringing the rig down there. What's the camping like?
Wonderful.
Yeah, in a short word.
Wonderful, yes. But of course, more economical in a state park. So if you, and then you have to battle, I would say battle, but every morning at 8 a.m., if you want to book a Florida State Park, you got to get online and hit send, and hopefully you get your booking. Hopefully you get the Wi-Fi
we're also
connection.
not resort people.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
do Corps of Engineer parks, boondocking, state parks, national parks, because they're a third of the price of a resort. And we're not really there at the resort for the amenities. I mean, we like to go explore the area that we're in. So, that's why when we said we built it around Key West, it was if we could get into the state park, once we got in, then we were like, okay, now we can go here, here, and here. If you want to pay the $200 a night, you can probably quickly get into somewhere in Key West.
It's
The full-time life would be over very quickly if we paid that kind of money to stay at a campground.
Okay.
So I guess some of your listeners would appreciate this. So we have America the Beautiful Pass.
Okay.
So as a disabled vet and or a senior citizen, you can get a national park pass that will afford you half-price camping in Army Corps Engineer parks and national forests. So we're at some Army Corps Engineer parks for $10 a night.
Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah.
So 14-night stays, that's very reasonable. And we get out, they're all somehow, some way associated with a water course, the Corps Engineer parks.
Water or a lock system.
Yeah, a dam, a lock, what have you. So you're near water, so you can do boating, fishing. We backed our toy hauler up and put the deck down on some beautiful locations.
On the Mississippi.
On the Mississippi River.
Yep.
On the locks of Ortano.
Lake Erie. We were.
Yep, beautiful.
Yeah.
That's the life right there.
That's the life.
That's the life right there.
That's the life. So for me, from having a toy hauler, I love sitting on the back deck and enjoying the sunsets overlooking some type of water course. It's pretty.
So we've gone from weekend warrior to full time, and then where does the evolution start to creating content? Whose idea was that, and what did we want to do out of that? What's the goal?
Well, the goal was to document our travels for our kids to enjoy, but they don't. They don't even subscribe to our channel.
Watch it, and our family members because they're all back home. Of course, there
I can't
was.
even get my own sister-in-law, Teresa.
Unbelievable.
No, I think she's subscribed now, but she
subscribed?
doesn't watch. She just waits for us to tell them.
Yeah.
I think we got. There is the bandwagon of the YouTubers. The RV life, because we were one of those many subscribers who were trying to use the YouTube to learn about RVs, because it's not something you really want to go into, spend that kind of money and not have any idea what you're doing, because it's home maintenance, but it's not home maintenance at the same time. Like trying to open the door or lock a door.
Lock the door, right? As we tried to do here.
Yeah, so it works like a home, but as I say that, I talk out of both sides of my mouth. It's totally not like a home.
Well, being a public servant all my life, a military and a retired police officer, plus I got a degree in teaching, so I love the aspect of teaching and helping,
sharing,
assisting, and sharing the experience. So
that's how it kind of evolved.
That's why I like doing a lot of what am I trying to say?
How-tos.
How
not tos.
Yeah. How
like
not
this is what happened to us.
How-tos.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's your specialty when you're creating content? Is the how and how not?
I think he feels yes.
I think it's more about
he feels very much like that's where he
can contribute.
Yeah.
Let me show these people what we did wrong so they don't do it again.
Yeah.
He's quick to grab the camera on any little, like, you should show them how to do that. Like, no, I don't want to. But he's very much like, let's show them, how to do that. And then it does make sense.
It makes sense, and also, I mean, there's got to be a good feeling where someone might give you feedback on that video, and like, I watched this and I was able to avoid a situation.
Correct.
Where you weren't as lucky when you were starting because that video didn't exist yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. So, and we do like the destination videos, and because it's nice because we're living in the moment. We're trying not to have your camera out 24/7.
Sure.
So we try to take a day or two where we just are strictly filming, and then the other days might just be laying on the beach doing nothing,
Right.
you know, or kayaking and not videoing. So able to go back and watch the video, like, oh, I don't remember seeing that place. You know, even though we did, it jogs a memory. Especially we did a, which we loved. The place was Savannah, Illinois.
Okay.
That's where we were on the banks of the Mississippi.
We enjoyed that town so much. We went in 3 or 4 times, just the little dive bars and restaurants. And when he put the video together and I went back and watched it, I was like, I had totally forgotten some of the things that we had done.
Yeah, sure.
Because we've moved on to the next town by then.
And you moved on to the next one. You probably have 3 or 4 in your recent memory, and it's going to start getting jumbled.
Like, oh, yeah, that's right. We did do that there.
You
You know, so it really is nice to have, because now in this digital age, you don't have pictures, you don't have tactile things anymore. So having that to look at, you know, in a year from now, or be able to show, we have a soon to be 1-year-old granddaughter that we can show, you know, your mom and pop up here, you know, doing this or you know, whatever we're doing. And it might just be pretty cool for her to see, because she's going to grow up in that digital world.
Absolutely.
You know, she's not going to know what a picture
Mm-hmm.
is.
Right.
So for her, that's going to be very normal. So I'm thinking it'll be pretty good to.
And for someone like me who may be starting to camp right now, where certain campgrounds are filling up pretty quick, I've never heard of Savannah, Illinois.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And if I watch a video on, oh, that's an interesting place, so finding those interesting places.
Yeah, but our videos, it was in Thompson Causeway Army Corps Engineer Park, right on the Mississippi, and Savannah, Illinois was 10, 15 minutes away from
Savannah without an H.
Yeah,
we
without an
learned,
H.
yes.
Savannah without an H. Yeah, and we did other small towns there too. Very cool place.
Just and people, and getting to know the locals is always helpful, because then they will tell you, hey, go here and visit this. It's not anywhere on a map, and they'll write it down on a little napkin for us, you know, and so it is nice to. That's why we like to stay at least 2 weeks in a place.
Okay.
Because it gives us time to really get to explore and know, and if you like something, to go back.
Oh, sure.
You know, there's times when we went for 5 days, and you're like, man, I didn't get a chance to go here, and here, and then you feel like it's got to be back on your list to go back to, because we didn't do it. And that's why I think as I do this a little more, I tend to see myself staying at a place for a month at a time. I can really see us. It's going to change the way we travel, but to get to really experience the area, the location, and have some downtime at the same time, because it isn't all go. There's days you just don't want to.
You don't want to go.
I don't want to go. I don't want to go.
You don't want to make that video. You don't want to go to the next site. I'm comfortable here.
I'm just comfortable on the couch today in some sweatpants and watching whatever might be on Netflix or whatever channel we may be able to get, you know. So it's just like being home. It's just like being home. You have days where I need to clean. I need to do the laundry. It's no different, you know.
The real life things.
In the real life, you really are doing the same thing. It's just in a much smaller space, and you have to be much more conscious of your neighbors, because they're usually 5 feet from each side of you, you know, and in the area that you're in. Because you're always in unfamiliar territory. That, I think, is what is the hardest part for me, is you lose the familiarity of where's the local grocery store. Like, I need to run here, so I have to Google. I don't know how people did it 10 years ago.
Which
they
is
can't.
all of a sudden not that long ago, when you think, right? But you wouldn't have had all the helpful
before, like,
videos
Google Maps, or you had to
Yeah.
get a phone book to look up, okay, where's the local grocery store? You know, now I can say, you know, hey, where's a Publix? And, you know, it's 5 minutes down the road.
Yeah.
And so, but that's probably the biggest adjustment for me, is like, okay, all right, we're going in here. Now I got to figure out, where am I going to go get this, go get that. I got to get dog food. We got to go to the liquor store. You got to go to the grocery store. You know, if you need a propane filled, you always have to be thinking about.
There's a lot of Google Earth.
A lot of
Google Earth.
Yep. RV's unique in that way, right? That you can be home all year, like, but you're in different locations, and you're uncomfortable at times, and you're unfamiliar at times, but you're home. Still.
You're home. Yes, that is your safe place. You know, so if you don't want to go out that day, you're still have your comforts with you, but it does make it. That can be some of the challenges for us, or for me, more so, is like, you know, but I'm quick to get in the car and I'll go, you know, ride and pick up what I need to pick up, and but sometimes it's like I just wish I could just go to my local blah blah
Sure.
and pick it up, So
With the content creation, so now we've evolved and we've done the content creation. We're YouTube, Facebook. What do we want to get out of the next level of content creation? Is it what's next?
Wow, that's a great question. What's next? I do it. I don't know.
Is it doing it for fun? Is it partnering? And we
I think
we
it's
should
like
say
what we're doing now that we're moving
Networking?
in with
Yeah,
Ambassador, like working with Lippert, like now that we've got a little bit of experience under our belt and can share, but then can be helpful to people like Lippert or Grand Design or Carefree and say, hey, we're out in this community and we're seeing that this isn't, it's camp life, RVing is constantly evolving. I mean, it's not just your campfire with 2 chairs and the sticks for s'mores.
Yeah.
It's Bluetooth, it's thermocells, it's awning lights, it's everything now. It's grills, it's rugs that you have. Like, there's not just
so many accessories.
There's so many accessories.
Things you can purchase and or waste your money on.
But yes, so there's the things that definitely make your life 1,000% better while you're on the out on the campsite, and then there's things that you buy and you're like, that was a waste of money. You know.
And I put that on our Facebook page.
That becomes content for the videos, right?
Content.
Like,
Yes.
hey, I did this, but it was a mistake. Don't follow my lead, right? Or
So,
I did this and it was great.
Yeah.
Getting to work as a Lippert scout, starting off, and then moving up, and with the ambassadors, and then so that's where I kind of see us moving towards is a co-worker with the people of the industry and saying, this is, but still doing it for fun, doing
That's
it
got to
for
be number
fun.
one, right?
Yeah,
You're still camping and
I don't want
living
to.
life,
I don't want to ever get to the point where it's a chore to come out in public because we're so big, or that you can't connect with everybody, and I like where we're headed personally, because there's days that I don't want to be.
For me, I guess for the ultimate goal, especially as a full-timer now, for have somebody who is not experienced as a full-timer have questions.
Oh, sure.
So they come up to us and ask questions about full-time life and how the day gets started, or what is the benefit of being a full-timer, or what's the cons of being a full-timer, that kind of stuff.
Well,
you got that great background too, because you started as a weekend warrior, going into full-timing, where we have talked to folks that started full-timing right away. They're just like, I'm going to go.
And we're like amazed at people who we've met coming into, they'll be at a show like this, and they're going out and they're buying a 43-foot rig, never pulled
for the first one.
And I'm like,
got to buy a truck afterwards.
oh my gosh. Like, do you have any, because my biggest fear was, what if I don't like this?
Right.
You mean, like, what if I really, and I still, that was just weekend worrying. I still worry. I mean, it still is on my mind. Like, sometimes, like, will I get tired of being away from my extended family? I mean, we've been married 29 years, so it's just, and our kids have been out of the house for the last, for 5-6 years. So it's really been us. But will we get tired of being gone and missing the birthdays and missing this and missing that? Will there come a time that I'm ready to come home for for a while?
Sure.
So when people ask us, how long are you going to do this? We really can't give them an answer, because at the turn of them, something could change and we need to go home, and that is the one perk of full-timing, because the wheels go wherever you want them to go. They go. That's the good thing on that truck. You point it where you just go.
Right.
So.
Did the pandemic hurt or help? Like, as you were getting started, it's pandemic time. Did that kind of push you out the door and help this transition, or did it?
That helped us with that 4-month dry run.
Yeah, sure.
And honestly, we didn't have, being on the road, other than maybe some of the touristy things we wanted to do were closed due to COVID.
Yeah, that was the
Other than that, it didn't affect us meeting people. It didn't affect us at the campground.
No.
It really was only if there was things that we wanted to do and be like, oh, the national park is closed. It doesn't have, things aren't, the hours were different. They would change the hours. It's not manned. You can't go in. You couldn't do tours of certain things.
Right.
But that's really, I've heard people say COVID pushed them because they didn't want to be stuck in home.
Right.
So they went and bought a rig and they wanted to get out and go. Because they had children, at least they could explore.
And you're probably seeing a lot of those new campers at the
Yes.
campgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we don't know how long. We don't know
Yes.
how long you'll see them. That's
Yes.
been the big joke amongst campers. Is okay. This time next year, we're going to see a bunch of campers for sale.
Sure.
Because of that, you are having an influx of people trying to get into campgrounds. So now, the days of just picking up and saying, "Let me just drive here to this campground and get in," are no longer. I mean, we're booked all the way out until June.
Yeah.
Right.
To get to places. And so every month or basically every week we're looking, okay, where do we want to go for the next month coming after June, because we're going to have to start booking.
So what's the number one piece of advice you would give to folks that were in your situation, going from the weekend to, hey, can we do this full time? And maybe even going into content creation. What would you say is the top of your mind?
Well, number one, you got to be friends with your partner, spouse,
That's good. All right.
significant other. You got to be friends first, because you're moving down. We went from a 3,000 square foot home to 480 square feet.
It's gonna be a tight space.
It's gonna be tight
for
space.
a lot of time.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
and you're together a lot of time. So
You have to like each other. That's definitely for sure.
Yeah.
So you would not say it's a marriage saver.
Oh,
right?
No.
God. And I don't know.
No.
I honestly don't. Well, personally, I don't think I could have done it with children. So I said that tongue in cheek. I wish we had done it more when our children were smaller, because I would have loved them to have these experiences.
Yeah, sure.
I could never have done this full time with children.
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't have done it.
No. I do wish we did it when they were smaller, because we took them a couple of times tent camping. I was like, oh, heck no, we're out of this. We're done. I do wish they got to experience some of the things that we've seen. I would have loved to have shared that experience with them as a child. But could I have done it with them full time? No, I don't think so. But I think just the advice would be, is you have to be flexible. You have to be willing to accept failure, because you will fail.
Sure.
Something will go wrong.
Something's going to go
break.
wrong.
Right.
Things are out of your control. If you're not the type that can handle that,
Which is a major adjustment
Yeah.
for me.
and it was a major adjustment for him, coming from the military and law enforcement, everything was regimented.
Oh, yeah.
And so when we hit the road, not so much the first month, because we were in the Keys. We really were enjoying ourselves. Once, I would say this second year of starting full timing has been more stressful, because things have started to, it just, sometimes you know how they say it just comes in threes. Things start off wrong, and his flexibility has grown. I don't know if we had those issues the first year, if it would have been as easygoing. But now that we know, we can fix it, or it's not a big deal. We can move on through it. It is it's much more relaxing experience. Travel days still are never relaxing.
Yeah.
It's just you're traveling, you're fighting the crowds, but you just have to be willing to put yourself out there and try and ask for help. Like, that is something else. It's funny, when we would camp as weekend warriors, he would never even speak to. I'm the talker.
Okay.
I would go meet the people.
Did you notice this?
Our listeners may understand that right now, which is totally fine.
And he wouldn't help. I'd say, you should go help that person. He looks like he's struggling. I'm not bothering him. Now, he's like, hey, buddy, you need help? Or you want to borrow this? You want to borrow that?
Yeah.
Because we were in those situations.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep. And somebody was always willing to help us.
Yeah.
He just was I think was more, you didn't want to offend people by offering to help. But now, I think he's like, I think I better go help him before something major happens, because
that's worse, right? If the outcome is headed towards a bad way,
right.
They might be offended now, but at least we're not going to face a disaster.
Correct. Yeah. There's a reason why, hey, let me help you out, bud.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not, so.
Do you find in your travels, and whether it's travel day, camping, are you still regimented in some way? Do you have routines that you've set up that have come from your past life?
Yeah, you have to have a regimen, especially on packing up and setting up.
Okay.
Hooking up, yes. So, for example, if I know what I have to do step by step, people say you have a checklist, and if you need a checklist to hook up your fifth wheel, because that's an awesome task to do. You don't want, but you got to put your wheel chocks down, you got to put your jacks down, vice versa. Whatever you're doing is regimented to where you cannot be distracted from that, or it's going to cost a mess of money. Whatever the impact,
or hurt somebody.
Yeah, or hurt somebody. Yeah. So the setting up and the hooking up. Yeah, I'm still regimented in that aspect, but once I get away from that, then I'm.
And I don't.
Vacation mode.
Yeah, I don't bother him, and I'll stand out there. I don't. Believe it or not, I don't speak.
Okay.
I know I've gotten to the point where I know when he's done that, okay, I can go ahead and pull the water hose out. I can, to try to help him. I'll say, do you want help? And sometimes he'll say yes, and sometimes he'll just say, I got it. He's fine. Because I can't do anything on the inside until he's done. So basically...
Here's an interesting thought before I forget this. The other day when I was backing into the campsite...
Which was quite a sight.
Yes.
Yep. I loved it.
I almost messed up because I got distracted because the neighbors came over. I don't know who they were.
You had a big crowd watching.
Yes. And he started talking to me. And I almost forgot to put my front jacks down before I unhitched from the truck.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And that minor distraction would have crushed the back of my truck. And I said, I just forgot to put the jacks down. I almost forgot to put the jacks down. So luckily I looked and saw that my jacks weren't down.
Okay.
That's how easy you can get distracted if somebody's talking to you.
And that's kind of one of the things most campers know that's an unwritten rule. You don't speak to anybody.
Okay, so it's an unwritten rule. I mean, you're setting up.
But if you're a brand new camper, you might not know that.
So we put out a video, Campground Etiquette.
There you go.
We did our top 10.
I was wondering if that was the next step.
Yes. Yeah. We did one.
Was that on there?
What's that?
Not talking to campers while setting up? I don't know. I don't think
recall.
It was.
I don't think
it might be time to make a solo video about that.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
I did on my fifth wheel hookup video. Okay. So I made a video about how to use your one-touch control system and hooking up to your one-touch leveling system and how to hook up to your fifth wheel for the first time.
Right.
The newbie. Yeah. And so in that I said, don't talk to somebody as they're trying to unhook or hook up because you don't want to distract them because it's going to cost a mess of money.
As polite as you might think it is to go greet your new neighbor, you may be causing them trouble.
Correct.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. But wait till everything's done and then.
It's amazing how simple the what to do and what not to do's can possibly
making a list, making a physical list is probably a good recommendation for people who are just starting out. We've gotten to the point now where it's just it's a scheduled routine. And sometimes he's come in, I work from the bedroom back, and he'll come in and he'll lock the bathroom door for me, thinking he's helping. It throws me totally off because now I'm like, well, God, did I do this? If that door is locked, usually this is locked. And there's times I'm like, so then I just start back over. I just start over one more time. I'm like, okay, I get what you were trying to do, but get out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so, but...
How does LinkedIn play? Because I'll see you post on LinkedIn every once in a while too, and you don't see many RV ambassadors, influencers, whatever you may want to call them, posting on that platform. What does LinkedIn mean to you as far as getting your audience up?
That is more of a networking thing with business. Okay. So maybe, again, with an ambassador deal or a product demonstration or product review, so we'll have people send us email and say, hey, we have this product we would like you to demonstrate or review for us.
Sure.
And they'll send the product to us, and I might do a video if I like it. If I don't, I just say, it's not for us.
It's not for us.
And that's a great way to get reviews. I mean, you're making videos, you're out there living the camping life, so why wouldn't a company want to?
And if they've got something that's beneficial to other campers that, and you use, isn't LinkedIn where we get like the jobs? Don't you get job postings? Like we can see like work camping positions coming up or something like that. If that's something we may think of doing down the road. But someone said to us yesterday, I know you from LinkedIn.
Yes.
Yep.
It was somebody that was down there, and so it was.
I would say that because I knew you both from Lippert Scouts and being in our community for the past year or so. But if I had not been, say I wasn't with Lippert and I wasn't in the Scouts group, LinkedIn would have been the first place I found. So that's cool because you want to use everything that's available, right?
Yeah. Yep, and it just establish relationships because if you're traveling around the country and something happens and you need assistance, a friend in need is a friend in need. So you just pick up the phone and call somebody, or shoot them an email. Hey, I'm in this position. Can you help me out?
Thinking ahead, absolutely.
You do. You kind of have to be open-minded and willing to accept the help and give the help and and make those connections
Oh, sure.
because you never really know where you're going to be
Right.
in a situation along the road or at a campground or at a fairground, anything. So you got to, making those connections because you don't have the common, constant connections as you do at home.
Yeah.
So you make them through different avenues, and if it's social media or if it's LinkedIn or if it's through the ambassadors, which is great because now with Lippert, I have Amanda, I have you, I have Kim, I have Craig. So when I see you at other events, so it's a friend, it's a comfort.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
it's nice. Like, oh, I'm gonna get to go see the gang, the
There you go.
Lippert peeps. We're getting ready to go hang out.
Yeah.
So it's nice creating those connections because then you will see them in other places in your travels. So
Yeah, there's a level of comfort there.
And we'll be seeing yet more events throughout 2022, I'm
yes,
sure,
lots,
right?
Yeah, we've got lots of rallies scheduled and
Being social media influencers for Grand Design, we're attending like 7 or 8 rallies this
7 or
year.
8 rallies,
We're
and then we're going to be at
Grand
the
Design.
getaway, and then whatever else. So it just would kind of.
Get to go to Myrtle Beach this year? Maybe, possibly.
For Grand Design?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah, we'll be there.
that's actually our. Is that the first rally or another Georgia
Georgia
rally?
rally's the first one.
I think Georgia
Okay.
is the first rally. So
I'm still
yeah.
trying to convince people who can decide that to go to the Myrtle Beach one. I wouldn't mind that at all. But,
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be there. Hopefully
Yeah.
the weather will cooperate. The weather's kind of iffy during that time of
Oh,
the year.
no, okay.
So, but yeah.
Don't tell me that. I'll want to go. We'll see what happens
Yeah.
there. But where can folks find the Campoholics?
On Facebook, Campoholics with an O, CAMPO, Campoholics.
Yes.
On Facebook, we have we're getting ready to hit 42,000 followers on Facebook, which I could never imagine it going that way. And
But it's amazing, right? That
Yeah.
many people, they're coming to you obviously because they found your video because they were searching for something that they might need. And there's a lot of campers out there that need what you're providing with the how-tos.
It really is. It's and I don't even have a personal Facebook. So
Okay.
the fact that we have 42,000 people that follow, but
And
I
we have a
can't-
group page, much like the Lippert Scouts program. We
Sure.
also have the Campoholics group page, which has another 19,000.
Oh, wow.
yeah.
So it's crazy in that aspect. I had no idea.
It
would
is
be that
definitely
big.
a community that just
Yep.
draws, and that you can post something out there, and I mean within minutes, someone will try to help you.
Yep.
It is truly amazing.
Yep. And then we've had other people's come up to us and say, hey, we lived through you vicariously because you're full timers.
Yeah.
This is great. Keep sharing your content. It's awesome.
And we
Yeah,
show
so-
pictures. We just it's like it's an open photo book.
Well, we're on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. We just got on TikTok
Twitter. Yeah, we're
now.
on Twitter.
Oh, boy.
We're on Twitter.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
on TikTok now.
Yeah, I don't know about the TikTok thing. I don't know. It's he has fun with it. I just am like, what is that? But it's okay. But yeah, they can find, and then we have we're just the Campoholics at gmail.com. So we have several people who just email us and
We've met some great people RVing.
yep.
It has restored my faith in humanity. There is nice people out there in this world.
There are a lot of nice people and a lot of good places to eat.
Yes. Yes. Yep.
So
Boom. That's my ending right there.
That's
I
it.
love it. That was 40 minutes.
All right.
okay.
Cool.
Time flies.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I probably
that'll be-
talked too much. I know.
No, you're completely right, but I love that part. Like, can you tell she's the talker? Yeah, that was
right.
great.
Yeah, right. Cool. All right.
Oh, awesome. Well, thank
Yeah,
you
it was
guys for
40
coming
minutes.
in. Oh, it's
Mhm.
40 minutes long. I'm not.
Mm-hmm.